All right, y'all, so we are back with another New York City bourbon hunt. Today, we're in Central Park. I've never been in Central Park, so I wanted to check it out, kind of see what it's like. Yesterday, we bourbon hunted around Times Square. I know that video is not gonna come out back to back. However, that's where we were yesterday. This is a few days later from where you're watching, and we are gonna go bourbon hunting around Central Park to try to see. This is the more bougie area of town, so I think bottles are gonna be probably a little more pricey. The selection might be a little bit crazier. I don't know, we're gonna see what it's like. I definitely haven't been out here, so we'll see you when we get to the stores. Cheers, guys. All right, y'all, so we're at 58 Wine and Liquor, very first stop. And if you can't see yet, but there's one literally 100 feet maybe down the road. So we're gonna go in here first, show you the selection. See you inside. All right, y'all, so we're inside of the store now. Can you just get like a panorama just to see? There's bottles on bottles everywhere. We're gonna talk about some of the things, but one thing I wanna talk about first is the owner's store picks here. So there's only 2 bottles you said left, maybe 2 bottles of this one. And this is an Amburana finish coming from Rare Character. I absolutely love Rare Character. We have a barrel pick coming out with our Bottle of the Month Club. Stay tuned for that. If you're a member, you're gonna get a killer barrel. And then this right here, you see the Buffalo, can't really, you know, hints where this juice might have came from. Anyway, so what I was told is this one might taste a little bit like something that comes straight from the barrel. Store pick. There's only not even 2 full cases left of this, I'm pretty sure. So this is selling out fast. It's really cool to see a Rare Character pick, especially in New York City. They're not the easiest to find in just stores, period. So to know that there's at least 2 available, that's awesome. Moving on, also has a Lucky 7 Toast pick right here, and then a Wilderness Trail pick. But you got to get down here fast because they're gone. I mean, they're gone really fast. There's not even a few cases of each one left. Moving on to some of the main selection. Look, I'm a big Nulu guy. I love Nulu. Those of you that do know that. However, in Colorado, Nulu's not the easiest thing to find in the world. However, here he does have a rye pick that he picked. There is a maple barrel finish, the straight bourbon whiskey, and then a tawny port. Behind here, we have a apple brandy. We have French oak. Options are just endless when it comes to Nulu in this store, which is unheard of, especially since I've been in the city. Even in Colorado, I just did a bourbon hunt in Louisiana last week. Nulu is just non-existent in a lot of those places. You saw the picks. We'll show you some of the shelf, some of the main selection shelf. A lot of great things that you'll see in certain stores. However, I'll point out some of these you won't be able to see the prices from this for, but $74.99 for uncut, unfiltered. A lot of these prices are gonna be some of the best prices that you've seen in any of the New York City videos so far. And I think that's why this might be definitely the coolest store that we stopped into so far. And we'll show you back here behind the counter, a lot of Bardstown selection. If you look under the Bardstown, there's a John J. Bowman single barrel, which impossible to find in pretty much most of the places I've been to. However, would you say about 75 bucks for that is what you're charging? So that's a fantastic price. It's gonna be pretty much MSRP. I think that's exactly what I paid for mine in Colorado a year ago when I found my first. And I was lucky enough to find a second, but after that, that's it for me. I'm gonna run out. They have a tumbling dice back there, some Ben Holiday. Even coming up here, look, you have a Penelope Barrel Strength 9-year. I love the Penelope Barrel Strength. Actually, I really love everything that Penelope's doing. Even these Architects are a solid bottle, especially when you can look at the stay profile on the back. This is Architect build number 2. So I've recently been seeing number 3s pop up all over Colorado. I enjoyed number 2 a lot. Number 3 is just as good. Rosé cast finish, those are going somewhat down in price, which is cool to see. And then Rios are, you know, people want those bottles more than anything. I personally don't get it because I've had better Amburana finishes. Like, I'm sure his barrel pick is probably much better than that Rio, and it's probably gonna be higher proof and cheaper. So in this cabinet here, there's a little Parkus Heritage Double Oak tucked away behind the Elijah Craig 18. Then some Knob 18, some Knob 12 down there as well. And then this is like, I guess, the big money cabinet right here. You have some George T. Stagg, Thomas H. Handy. You have your Sazerac BTAC. Then the Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye, Pappy 15, Van Winkle 12. We recently did a tasting of the Van Winkle 12. What was that, Friday night? No, not Friday night, it was
Saturday. No, it was Friday.
It was Friday, okay, yeah. Big hit at the place, and I think the coolest one actually in this shelf, believe it or not, would be this Michter's 20. I don't think I've seen one in person yet. They're just not the easiest to see. I know they came out with, what, a 25 or 26 this year, but I like the look of the 20-year, that classic, like, silver, sleek look. And then there's one more cabinet with even more goodies back here, too, which is crazy. I mean, it's probably almost just as crazy as that one. You have Michter's 10-year rye, you have a Woodford Historical Barrel, some Washington Barrel Proof, Weller, single barrel, Caribou Crossing, Michter's Barrel Strength, Russell's 13. They're just poked everywhere. some 1924. Listen, I gotta ask, the 2XO Gem of Kentucky, for those of you that had tasted it, it's a $200 MSRP bottle. Is it worth it? I don't know if it's worth it because I've had the Tribute and the Tribute's good, but I have a hard time justifying the $100 price tag for the Tribute. So I can't imagine that the Gem of Kentucky could be that much better, but I could be wrong. I also see a Cream of Kentucky here, Whistle Pig 15. And for those of you tequila fans, this is the only state I've seen the mini Tears of Leon.
They got a few of them here too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it. It's great. It's very, very heavy tequila though. Like, not when it comes to proof, but it's a big mouthfeel, that's for sure. Even some Elijah Craig barrel proofs, Kentucky Owls. There's just stuff everywhere. I'm sure it will take you a while to go through this entire store and really search through it all. I definitely recommend that you come check this place out. Come check out the pics. We had a great conversation with the store owner. We are gonna link some of his socials down below. Make sure you follow him as well. Get updates too. He has a website where everyone gets pinged when certain things drop, anything like that, you're gonna get notified. Make your way down to the store if you're in the area or if you're on vacation, definitely a place to stop in right next to the Central Park. I know after a long night of drinking, feeling so bad the next morning, not always the funnest. Well, today, ZBiotics is sponsoring today's video. Let me tell you more about their product. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. So what it is, it was invented by a PhD scientist to tackle the rough mornings after a night of drinking. So when you drink normally, alcohol gets produced into a toxic byproduct in your gut. So that byproduct is actually to blame for those feeling nasty in the morning. It's actually not dehydration, which a lot of people do think it is. So now what ZBiotics does for you, it actually produces an enzyme to help break that down. As you can see, I've gone through almost all of the package that I got. I really was impressed. It really did work. What you have to do, go to zbiotics.com/whiskier, use the code whiskier at checkout for 15% off of your order. And another great thing about them, their money back guarantee if you're not satisfied. Thank you ZBiotics for sponsoring today's video. Hope to use them more in the future. All right, so we're at Central Perk, like a perk. Central Perk Wine and Spirits, and we're gonna show you some of the things on the shelf and definitely the craziest bottle that we have seen in New York City yet. We're gonna talk about that today, right now. So here we go. Starting on the shelf, they had some great products. Weller Special Reserve, $94.99. Isn't that wild? I think when we did a Colorado Springs bourbon hunt, the highest that we saw, or the average that we saw was like 60, and we're like, no way, 60 bucks, who's going? $94.99, just pumping it up. I don't see it just yet, but $17.92, like full proofs are super easy to find here in New York City. I know they're getting a little bit more available in Colorado Springs, in the Colorado area, even in Louisiana, hit or miss, but $17.92 is kind of everywhere here. And then moving down here, you got an Evan Williams single barrel, $54.99. That's wild. And then a Buffalo Trace for $50 as well. Maker's Mark, I want to see what that price is. $46.99 for a Maker's Mark. Sazerac Rye, 30. See, that's crazy. That's actually really cheap for Sazerac Rye. It's normally way more, especially that we've seen. This is a single barrel. $36.99 for a single barrel, dude, that's actually insane. So all the way to the left too, you have, of course, your Michter's Toasted Barrel, then the Barrel Strength Rye, Russell's 13, a Four Roses limited edition for $799. Stag Junior for $350. Weller 12, $300. Weller CYPB, $700. And then over on top, you have a Michter's 10. I think that one's $300 for what I'm seeing. And then all the way to the right, Old Rip 10, $1,400. William Weller for $2K, Thomas Handy for $1,300. Now, we're gonna go and show you real quick. The craziest bottle that we've seen in New York City is right behind me right here. The Michter's Celebration Sour Mash is $25,000. 25 US, 25K, dude, that's crazy. Michter's 20, they got a couple of them. Then they have two Michter's 25. I think he said that's around 14 grand if you want. Michter's 10, moving down again, you got more BTAC, all the pappy that you want. They got the 15, the 12, the 10, even more Weller, CYPB 12, single barrel, and then even crazy, look, the first time I've seen E.H. Taylor, 4 grain just chilling on there. Down below they have Blanton's over here, Rock Hill Farms, shout out to Steve, look, hey Steve, $400 for this Rock Hill Farms. Yeah, that's not gonna come home with me today. However, it's cool to see because we haven't seen many Rock Hill Farms in New York City yet, but this is definitely the craziest bottle that we've seen so far, and I think you can agree. All right, so we just got done inside of Central Perk. we found our craziest bottle, but I think actually the craziest, like most absurd thing I saw in there, an Old Forester single barrel strength rye for $600. That is insane. But we're in Billionaires Row in New York City, right next to Central Park. So now you're gonna start to see, this is actually crazier than I thought yesterday was gonna be crazy, being by Times Square, but I was mistaken. Billionaires Row, we're gonna find some crazy stuff today. That is definitely the craziest store we went into so far. Let's go check out some more. All right, we're on 55th Street Liquors now. Rock Hill Farms, well, they're foolproof in the window. Looks promising. Not sure if the prices are gonna be promising, but we'll go. All right, so then starting off Pappy 15, 3,500. Then you have some Van Winkle 12, some Old Rip 10, and then underneath you have the Weller Collection, $5.99 it looks like for foolproof, $2.99 for antique, $4.99 for 12. And then there she is, some Rock Hill Farms. We found out $3.50 for the bottle. So not looking good for me, for Rock Hill, New York City. Let's go see the shelf. Real quick before we go to the shelf, this is actually not the worst price I've seen for a handy. They have $700 for the Thomas H. Handy. They have $1,200 for George T. Stagg, and then Stagg Jr. looks like $309. So then you have some of the Michter's Ryes. These are very common that we've seen in the city. $2.99 coming in for the barrel strength, and for the toasted $2.99 as well. Moving on to this shelf, I've seen a couple Penelopes tucked away. They have a barrel strength back there for $79. $89.99 for the Architect, $150 for small batch, standard bottled and bond. And then Eagle Rare is gonna be $99.99. So it seems like you're gonna find Eagle Rare for about $79 to $100 here in the city, which is, it's a stretch compared to what we've seen in other states, but I get it. We're in the big city, right? The Big Apple. And just overall, it's a really cool vibe in this store. They have a nice selection of kind of everything. Real quaint, tucked off, it's real quiet. I like it. All right, y'all, so we are done with our Bourbon Hunt series in New York City. Overall, no, I didn't go home with anything. I probably am gonna kick myself in the butt for not grabbing a couple John J. Bowmans, but the good thing is, those prices aren't gonna change. They still have a ton of it in the city. They're gonna continue, and I'll be back in the city, but I really wanted to just showcase what they have, like in regards to prices, bottle selection. It's just cool to see regardless, to go into these stores and just see some of the absurdity and like crazy bottles that you're never gonna see, and sometimes not even available online. So that was really cool. Want to give a shout out to our Patreon members. Shout out to Bottle Raiders for flying me out for the week. It was a great time. We had a great day, a great experience. I've eaten some good food. We've had some good pours, obviously. Tons of good things to come in the future. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.